Hey there, Andrew here. I love to be entertained, but I have no patience, so I give every new show I watch only one episode to hook me. Welcome to Debut Review. Okay. Intro's out of the way. So, JOJO'S Bizarre Adventure. I've heard of it. I've never seen it. Because it's called JOJO'S Bizarre Adventure, which is like one of the most unappealing names you could title a show. I don't know why I find it that off-putting, but I have eclectic taste. I'm game for pretty much anything, but you say, "Hey, Andrew." Yes? Hypothetical person? Would you like to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? No. But why? Because it's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I have no idea what it's about. I have not the first. It could be a sports anime. It could be a fighting anime. It could be an adventure. And I literally have. I don't know if it's a single person character study. I don't know if it's an ensemble piece. I genuinely do not know what the main character looks like. I have no idea what the hell this show is about. All I know is it's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And I don't like that title. But hey, let's see what the show description says. So, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, 2012. Ooh, TVMA. Oh god, 74 episodes? Man, now I'm hoping I don't like it because that's a lot. Anyway. Multiple generations of the Joestar family. Oh, Jesus Christ. The Joestar family. I scoff, but I'm currently watching Gem and the Holograms, and the star-shaped earrings that Gem wears are the Gem Star earrings, so that's a pretty hypocritical scoff, I admit. So, multiple generations of the Joestar family, all with the same nickname. JoJo? Is it JoJo's? JoJo the nickname? Confront supernatural villains through a series of time periods. Well, that's interesting. Through a series of time periods. Now, does that mean that our hero is a time traveler and goes to different time periods to face supernatural villains? Or is this series covering, like, this family's entire legacy, and we're going to have different JoJo's throughout the series? Well, that's kind of interesting. So, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Let's, well, you do what you want. I'm going to watch the first episode, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what I think. I didn't like it. I am struggling to think of another show that I have disliked as much as I dislike JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah, it's a dumb title. That's not why I dislike the show. Let's get the surface level thing out of the way. This is one of the ugliest animated shows I have ever seen. Not the ugliest, but it's up there. The character design, the animation, and the posing, how characters stand and hold themselves in various scenes, is some of the single most unattractive art I have ever seen in any animated television show. It is genuinely off-putting. Also, the art is really unclear in a lot of places. There is a scene in the middle of the show where something happens to a dog, and using context and what the character is saying, you can deduce that Dio, one of the characters in the show, struck a dog. But I had to scrub backwards and watch it again, and then scrub backwards again and pause it and really look at it before I finally figured out, oh, he's kneeing the dog. That's what's happening in that piece of art. Oh, okay. Wow. That is amazingly poorly composed. Huh. So, this is an ugly show, aesthetically. It is genuinely off-puttingly awful to look at. This is some of the worst character design I have ever seen. And judging by the next time on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, this episode takes place when JoJo and Dio, I presume the main characters of the series, are 12? I think they're supposed to be 12, maybe 13. They look older. Again, bad art. But 7 years later is episode 2. And oh golly, gosh, gee willikers and heck. Their character designs just get worse. I'm actually somewhat impressed that they took these character design. I'm failing at an appropriate adjective to describe how ugly and awful and terrible these character designs are, and made them exponentially worse. That's impressive, actually. I mean, wow. Damn. But the show is not just aesthetically ugly. It is ugly in its characters and ugly in its characterizations. There is nobody likable in the show. JoJo is a weenie. Dio is a sadist. He not only knees his dog, he murders his dog by throwing the living dog in a furnace. More specifically, locking the living dog in a box and putting the box in the furnace. And then the groundskeeper just lights the furnace and burns the dog alive. Granted, I'm pretty sure Dio is supposed to be the villain. I don't care. I don't like Dio. I don't like JoJo. I don't like his father because his father is genuinely an oblivious asswipe who sees only good in Dio and only wrong in JoJo. Now, granted, JoJo, as I mentioned, is indeed a weenie. In this episode, again, 12 or 13 years old, has still somehow not figured out how to eat properly. And he goes, ah, wah, 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 and knocks things over, and it's like, dude, you're 12 or 13 or something. I understand perhaps you are famished. But what the hell, dude? So the show actually starts out in kind of an interesting way, flashing back and forth between JoJo and Dio's lives before they cross paths. Starts out with a carriage of some aristocrat. I guess it fell over or something. And the dad's lying there, presumably dead. The mom's dead inside, and apparently there's a baby inside that survived. Well, Dio's daddy shows up and starts, yanking the jewelry off the corpse. And Daddy Joestar wakes up. He's like, "Oh, you're here to save me. Are my wife and child okay?" He says, "Well, the kid's cool." And he goes, "Oh, well, that sucks. But I owe you." And he goes, "Oh, well, that's great." So they go their separate ways, and JoJo grows up with his dad, and Dio grows up with his ne'er-do-well father. JoJo has a nice life, because he's well-to-do and rich. But again, he's a weenie who can't figure out how to eat or interact with other people. There's a girl getting bullied by bullies who bully. And he jumps into the fray and gets his ass kicked. Noble. But then he yells at the girl. "I didn't do this for your sake. I don't need your thanks. I'm a gentleman. I do it for the just to be a gentleman." It's like, dude, chill the hell out. All she said was, "Are you okay, you asshole?" Learn to interact with other human beings, schmuck. So, it shows JoJo having a fairly pampered life, and cuts between Dio having a really rough life growing up on the street with a ne'er-do-well, grave-robbing father. Well, his father's on his deathbed, and he says, this Joestar fella owes me a favor, so go live with him and milk him for all he's worth. And JoJo's coming back from the encounter with the bullies, and Dio's heading towards the house in a carriage. And then the narrator steps in and says, "JoJo and Dio's paths would cross this day." No shit! Obviously. Thank you, narrator. We got that. I find the show contemptible. Yeah, I'm now. As mentioned, if you watch this debut review series, you'll know that I didn't care for Avatar: The Last Airbender. I didn't hate the show. I didn't even dislike it. No, that's not true. I found the first 3 episodes really hard to sit through. I just found it kind of dull. So yeah, I'll say I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. I just found it dull and uninteresting. Episodes 4 and 5 were better. They were an improvement, but not enough for me. This show, wow, contemptible. Yeah, I don't like this at all. I find it aesthetically off-putting, and the characters and the story utterly repugnant. Maybe it will redeem itself in subsequent episodes and overcome the ugliness of its characters, both inside and surface level. But I'll never know because I don't plan to watch anymore unless you fine folks viewing this have some compelling arguments to make in the comments. And I mean this seriously. While I find the show contemptible, if you're a fan, I don't find you contemptible. So if you're a fan of the show, and I know many of you are, please, and I do genuinely mean this from the bottom of my disgustingly shriveled little black heart, please let me know in the comments what you like about the show. I would genuinely be interested to know. I did not like the first episode. I didn't like the first episode! All of my comments and critiques and criticisms and other words starting with k, that applies solely to the first episode which I just watched. Not the, excuse me for a second, 73 episodes that follow. I've not watched them. I've only watched the first episode. So the first episode is all I'm talking about. Not any of the other 73 episodes. Again, let me restate this. In case the name of this show, Debut Review, and the fact that I explicitly state the premise of the show right up front, I give the show one episode to hook me. Welcome to Debut Review. In case that's not clear enough, let me lay this out for the very small percentage of you that seem to have trouble getting this. Again, everything I said in this episode applies exclusively to the first episode, the only part of the series I've watched. I don't like the first episode. I find the first episode contemptible. Not the show, not the series, not anything past episode 1, just episode 1. Golly, I hope that's clear. I hope none of you make fucking fools of yourselves in the comments and are like, well, it's not fair to judge an entire series on the first episode. You're right. It's not. That's why I don't fucking do that. Dio is also not above sexually assaulting women just to be a jerk to JoJo. So he'll murder dogs and sexually assault women. And break the rules in boxing. Pretty sure thumb in the eye is against the rules. So I know, again, I know Dio is supposed to be the bad guy, but yeah, I don't care. Don't like him. And I know you're not supposed to, but man, I think the problem is not that we have just a real scumsicle of a bad guy. I think the problem is there's just nothing to this character. He's just sadistic, and there's nothing else there. Again, at least by the first episode. Yeah, he had a crap upbringing, but still. That alone might not be the biggest problem, but everyone in the show sucks. The father sucks. I described why. JoJo sucks. I described why. All the other townsfolk just immediately take Dio's side and are just shitheads. So they all suck. And Irina. She is just a blank slate who gets tossed around and bullied and cries. There's no character there. So again, at least so far, episode 1 and all. Oh, there's a supernatural mask on the wall. I'm sure that'll become important at some point. So yeah, I did not like this show. This first episode of this show. Maybe if I stuck around, I'd like it. But I don't think I will.